Hello.
Hi, hi. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for coming on so early.
No problem.
We just wait for like two more people to come in and
Sure, sure.
um, yeah. So in case anybody asks questions, I will monitor it. I'll moderate it, and then you can answer them as well if they have any questions.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. So how do you feel so far being the winner?
Um, I didn't expect this at all because it was a very last minute.
I see.
I came to
Me.
know about this very last minute, so I sent it quickly that night itself on the 10th of May.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so that's good. That's good because we had a blast going through all the artworks. Like it's really nice because I've been doing art judging back to back, and
Uh-huh.
uh, yeah, and to see the entry from this particular like submission under the theme Dreamscape, it's
Yeah, yeah.
very different. Yeah, because it's
Mm-hmm.
so free and it's subjective at the same time, the
Yes,
interpretation.
correct. Yeah.
So yeah. You have a student, is it? Says hi, teacher.
Yeah, I have a lot of my students coming in.
That's nice. Good. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us on our Instagram live chat today. I am with Eugene Nanda Kumar today, and he's a professional artist and a full-time art educator. He's also the grand prize winner of Dreamscape Art Contest Accomplished Artist category, which is organized by Lee Art Shop. And Lee Art Shop is hi. Yeah, she's saying hi over there. So
Hi,
if you
hi.
guys, yeah, if you guys want any really good curated art materials, art supplies, please head over to La Art Shop because they have very good selection. I am personally promoting it because I support the her selections. Her curation is really really good. Yeah. Okay, so to start off, perhaps you can share with us a little bit about yourself and how do you got into this career as an artist?
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Hi there, everyone. First of all, thank you very much for having me here today, for interviewing me, and also selecting me as one of the grand prize winner. A bit of my artistic career, or I'll say it's my journey. I started somewhere around the age of 5 or 6, and where I was always attracted to all these different art elements, you see, such as colors, lines, and things like that. So, but I never had a chance to join into any art classes until I had a formal art education, and I would say it's a practice in fine art at the Malaysian Institute of Art. So
Okay.
from there, I was lucky enough to be exposed to the, I would say, the local and also international art scene by all my wonderful lecturers back in MIA. So at this moment, I also like to acknowledge my gratitude to all my teachers and also my lecturers back in MIA, and for molding me into what I am today. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, that's amazing. Like, yeah, you study in MIA. Sorry, if you hear a cat, it's actually my cat making sound in the
Okay.
background.
No
Okay, yeah,
worries.
because she's taking a nap at the side.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Oh, isn't yeah? I was saying that it's interesting to know that you went to MIA. Yeah,
Yeah.
back then I think when was this? What year was this in MIA?
I graduated from MIA in the year of 2008. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
upon graduation, I got into a full-time teaching, into teaching.
I see.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. That's good
Mhm.
to know.
Yeah.
I've always had a dream to, well, not really a dream. One of my goals at that time, like many years ago, was to actually join an art college. So one of it was actually the One Academy. I never had a chance to because I ended up studying advertising in Taylor's.
Mhm.
But somehow or rather, I ended up working for the One Academy
Oh,
as
okay.
a copywriter. Yeah, as a copywriter. So it's like full circle. So I even though I didn't get a chance to study art like properly, with a good education, but I ended up working there and I still, got to learn through my job. So
Uh,
I think that's pretty amazing that you are able to pursue that art education.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the things I want to know is about your art style because I noticed in some of the artworks that I went through, It's kind of unique. So like what kind of art do you really do, and like what do you specialize in, and do you have a reason why you specialize in a certain art style?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would say I didn't specialize in one particular artwork, but I opened myself to a lot of different mediums as well. So because I love to experiment with the different mediums, you see, since my major was in painting and drawing, but I fell in love with these dry mediums. Especially
Okay.
charcoal and soft pastels and also color pencil. Many people will think, oh, color pencil is just for children, you see, but
Yes.
it's not. You can do wonders with color pencil actually. And for me, it's much more straightforward, I would say, in expressing my thoughts, and I don't have to manipulate those mediums compared to painting. For example, when you are working with the oil painting, you have to use different chemicals such as turpentine and linseed oil and so
Yeah.
on. So
Yeah.
it takes time, you see, for
Yes.
them to dry. So that is why I prefer to use dry mediums. But nevertheless, I still do work with wet mediums. Yeah.
Ah, okay, okay. All right, it's good to know that.
Yeah.
I've never, like for me personally, I've never tried oil painting yet, and that's something I'm very curious about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Color pencil wise, I totally get what you mean because people have this misinterpretation that it's only for kids. I think
Correct.
maybe because it's how it's being promoted out there, you know, because
Yeah.
like back when we were kids, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
you see coloring contests, you know, like
Yeah. Correct.
like my mom herself, she used to work for Stabilo,
Uh-huh.
and she used to organize like art coloring contests as well. So that perception is there already, you know, that people yeah, that color pencils are only meant for kids. But I think I agree with you, it does
Yeah.
wonders, you know, and if you
Yeah.
actually know how to fully utilize it, it creates like very intricate style of work. Yeah, I
Correct.
totally agree
Correct.
with you. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's move to your winning artwork. This is very exciting because
Oh, yeah.
when I was going through all the artworks, your artwork was one of the ones that caught my attention immediately. Like I was scrolling, I thought we stopped at that artwork, and I was
Okay.
very drawn to it. and I started reading your description, and I know that you called it Light of All Lights, which
Correct.
was created in 2017, and it's done by
17.
Charlie as well, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I was reading through your description, and I think one of the things that caught my attention, because I'm looking at the information over here on my screen, is that you mentioned something about human beings, you know, the creator himself, something about transcending, you know, the whole like light to dark, you know, dark to light kind of
Correct.
thing, the
Correct.
concept of, you know, darkness
Yeah.
versus light, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
So like maybe if you can, perhaps you can just share with me a little bit about this particular reading artwork, and what inspired the piece and what's the meaning behind it, especially the element that you use, because
Yeah.
I noticed it's unique. It's not like, you know, it's like it's not just lines and, you know, like you actually formed it in such a way, it kind of like reminds me of magical realism a little bit. So
Mhm.
to me,
Yeah.
that's a very good interpretation of the theme dreamscape. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, as I told you earlier, it was a very last minute for me to send in this artwork. So when I
Yeah.
was going through my artwork, I particularly found this work was most suitable for the theme of dreamscape, because it expresses the view of life, I would say, and also
Okay.
experiences. It's just like creativity, you see.
Mhm.
Life begins in darkness and also
Yes.
ends in darkness.
Yes.
So, but yet the darkness, I would say, not only come into being, but we grow more in that 40 weeks. That is where I included the image of a fetus into
Okay.
the drawing. So, you
Okay.
know, I used to ask myself, what do those unborn child in the womb dream about? You see,
Mm.
you know what? That kind of questions will always linger in my mind. But we actually do not know what they are actually thinking about
Yep.
or dream about. You see, so and also the lines and markings. If you notice in my drawings, they actually show or depict the obstacle that we overcome in our daily lives. So, because throughout our life unpredictable journey, right? So, the fetus also shows a sense of growth. It is slow, but it is definite, you see. Yeah. So that is where it makes our life more, enriches our life with valuable experiences that we ultimately make ourselves better, depending on the choices that we make for ourselves, you see. Yeah. And we as a human being, we always try to unravel the mysteries of life. We always tend to ask ourselves, you know, simple questions is like, why me? Why not others? And things like that. And we sum it up to all a single phrase. Oh, it happens for a reason, you see. But it is actually all the predetermined path that we play out. Just as how I portrayed the tree roots, you know, in search of water underground without heeding any instructions. And throughout all this process, we will come to know that it is not mysterious at all, but in fact, it's constructed by the choices and what shall I say, that we make for ourselves. Let it be good or bad. So yeah, that is about the work.
It's very interesting. Wow. It's more than what you have explained here. Wow, okay. So like when you created it, that was all that was going through your mind, I would say.
Because especially when you look at the artwork, the particular artwork, it is consists of tree roots. It is that is the main subject matter, you see. So if you look at tree roots, it is always underground, hidden. It is always in darkness. But as an artist, as a normal human being, we should not be in that darkness all the time. You see, we shall come out of it. That is why I name it Light of All Lights. You see.
Yes, that's interesting. I was just talking to my husband earlier. Like we had a conversation about whenever, you know, as humans, when sometimes we take things for granted a little bit, you know, because when things are okay, we are okay. But the real truth of how we discover ourselves or how we rise above certain things, right, in life is actually through crisis. So crisis is not really a bad thing, you know, however you want to see it. But we all tend to find peace or tend to find love or tranquility, whatever it is you call it. It is always through a crisis, a state of crisis, you know. Just like how whatever that is going on right now. Yes, I know that everyone's suffering, you know, with the pandemic, but because of crisis in the past 1 year, a lot of us, whether we want to admit it or not, we have somehow found a way to rise above a lot of things. And we have found a way, like a sense of renewal for ourselves, like, you know.
Yes.
So, like for some people, they've answered a certain calling. For some people, they feel reborn, you know. For some people, they have, like awaken, you know, certain things. Like if you are a believer in metaphysics, like because I am, you know, spiritual metaphysics. So like I understand that like the certain part of us, we are awakened during this time. A lot of people are awakened, you know, and whether we notice these things, and it's always through crisis, which is very interesting. And it's somehow, I find it the most interesting thing is that with all that you've mentioned, all that you've shared with me, you sum it all up in a piece of artwork that is so profound that when I look at it, there is so many meanings to it, you know.
Well, thank you so much. I'm happy that someone would actually understand the meaning behind, because art statement, as I would stress, it's very important, you see. It's just not exhibiting your art. You can do anything, you can draw anything, but then at the end of the day, you must be able to, I would say, to explain the rationale behind your artwork, to make the audience more, to engage more towards the audience, I'd say.
Totally agree with you. That's why I find that with visual, it's not just visual, you know, it's always visual and words. And if it's possible, there is sound. If it's possible, there's smell, you know, this kind of thing. So like, I think all of this should be somehow combined together, which I think maybe that's why we are all moving into a more highly evolved like with the whole NFT right now. So like I think we are going more involved into the whole world of art, and it's no longer just this anymore. Yeah, so like my husband and I, we were going through all the hours, and then we immediately stopped at your artwork. We're like, whoa, what is this? And we started reading it.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so moving on to, I think since knowing that it's such a, like, your artwork is a winning artwork, I'm sure everybody will want to know, like, the creative process behind how you actually create, day to day as an artist, not just that particular artwork. So I would like to know more about your creative process. This is something, my personal interest, I've always wanted to understand. You can say it's like a research or an observation for me to understand everybody's creative process. And like, where do you usually get your ideas from and your inspirations, like from especially like how you plan and construct a visual and a piece, and then piece them together into one particular artwork, because I think the process is not just about sitting down in front of a piece of paper or a canvas and just start painting. Yeah.
Yes. That is why I will always stress, even to my students, before you create an artwork, the research or the process is very important. It's just not you take out a pencil and you start drawing and then, or you start painting. No, it should be through a lot of process or research, especially. But I believe also this creative process comes in different ways on different timeline for each person. Okay. You see, as for me, I start off by doing a lot of reading. Okay. Doing reading and also having a sketchbook with me when I'm doing this kind of reading, you see. So whenever idea comes in, I quickly sketch it out onto a sketchbook, because we tend to forget our ideas. Sometimes even when you are driving, the idea will just pop out, or some kind of inspiration will just come in. So I always have the sketchbook with me for me to have a rough or quick sketch. And I usually begin with by using charcoal pencil. Let it be on canvas or paper, but usually I do it on paper. Okay. And usually I make marks. I erase them off by using this putty eraser. So because putty eraser is the most suitable for charcoal, you see. And then I start it all over again, and leaving these marks behind. That will actually create a very interesting layer, you see. From there, I will make it it will make it more interesting, because you have all this overlapping, this layering and things like that. And from there, I start to construct them into visual. So, and I also like to experiment with different mediums. Yeah, one good medium will be bitumen. Have you heard about it?
Oh yes, actually I have, but not in the not as part of an art supply. I was watching something related to a metaphysical content about higher beings and in Egypt and stuff like that. And apparently they found certain elements called bitumen, and bitumen was used to create something to do with I think mummifying Egyptians, or to put into the sarcophagus. So I'm not sure if it's connected to that, but I know I've come across bitumen. So how do you use
something similar, because bitumen you cannot find in a normal ordinary art shop. It usually I get it from the hardware shops, you see. Bitumen is like a kind of a medium that you use for, to tar the roads and things like that.
Yes,
so when you mix bitumen with turpentine or linseed oil, and you spray it onto a canvas, that will eventually give you a different kind of effect as a preparation for your canvas before you go on painting, you see. So
that's
experiment is very important for me.
That's like gesso primering the canvas. Is that the same?
No. Before this is done after you apply the gesso. After you prime the canvas, you can try by using bitumen. Bitumen is actually it will give some sort of a dark brown kind of effect.
Yes.
So so you can do a lot of overlapping. It's quite interesting. That's why experimentation is very important. And also sketches, you see, because you never know what is the outcome going to be. from there, I choose and think what is the most suitable for my artwork. Yeah.
Amazing. So I would say you are also a keeper of art journals as well, just like the rest of us.
Yes, definitely. I believe each and every artist have to have their own art journal. It is very important to. It's kind of a artistic diary, you know. Many
Yes,
of us
yes.
we write in diaries, but we as an artist we draw in our diaries. We capture
Yeah,
every moment that we see and things like that. So it's very important to have a sketchbook. Yeah.
truly agree. I'm crazy about art journals as well because I find that
Yeah.
that's where I think I have the most freedom to create, and I think it's so
Mhm.
important to archive. Like I even conduct art journaling workshops as well because I find that art journaling is not just play. It's not just about putting stickers in and all that. It's more than that. It's about documenting your entire journey as an artist,
Correct.
and it's like an extension of yourself, right? So I would say that, yeah. Okay,
Mhm.
so before we move on to the next question, I would just want to let everyone who is still on that if you have any questions for Eugene, please post in the comments, and we will definitely he will definitely answer your questions. Yeah, so don't be shy because the entire idea of this IG live chat is actually to chat and to get to know each other. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so coming back to the bitumen part, so I was thinking, right, would you be interested if you were to do something like we can collaborate together and for you to demonstrate how you use bitumen, because I think that's very interesting.
Yeah. Sure. Sure. Wouldn't be a
Yeah.
problem.
Okay, great. That will be a separate discussion later
Yeah.
on. Yeah. Okay. So okay, so this is thank you for sharing about your creative process. I think every one
Mhm.
of us have a very unique creative process to get into the flow. I've spoken to so many artists. Each and every one of us is so unique, and it kind of like reminds me of like how each and every one of us have our like sort of like unique superpowers kind of thing, as an
Correct.
artist.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on to the next question would be, who is your favorite, whether it is late or current artist, and how did this particular artist influence your art style as an artist? Yeah.
Mm, I would say I have actually a lot of favorite artists, both local and also internationally, lah. But one in particular, I would say, would be Georgia O'Keeffe.
Oh, my
Yeah,
favorite artist.
yes. She was an American artist. She was well known for paintings of enlarged flowers,
Yeah.
skyscrapers, and landmarks and things like that. So yeah, she
How
was
how did?
also, I think, if not mistaken, she was the mother of the modern American art.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, okay,
I
all right.
think.
Yeah, and I
But
know that she married what's his name, the famous photographer.
yes,
Was it
correct.
Fred Stieglitz or something like that? Yeah, if I'm not
Something like that.
mistaken.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Yeah, I love her artwork. Of course, my all-time favorite artist is Frida Kahlo and Vincent Van
Yeah.
Gogh.
Uh-huh.
Because I find that Van Gogh's artwork, I don't think that they have um, coined it that way, but I feel that when I look at his artwork, I feel that that's probably like the OG of intuitive art for some reason.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. But Georgia O'Keeffe story is her life story. So she's very different. She's a remarkable woman.
correct.
I'm very inspired by her as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you watched the movie on her
Yes, I
life?
was.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Amazing. Okay,
That's
so
where I actually fell in love with the way she painted. She
yes.
usually enlarged them, and let the audience to think about it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
work is very locally, I would say Yusuf Ghani.
Yes, Isogani. Yes, yes.
Yeah, he's a
Okay.
very well established artist.
Yes.
I love the way he I would say his apply his brush strokes and also his compositions. So somehow these two artists have actually influenced my style of work,
I see.
especially with my
Oh,
drawings, where
okay.
I usually enlarge them. Yeah.
Now that I think about your artwork, yeah, actually, you know what, there is an element of that, and there is also a touch of Georgia O'Keeffe as well
Yes,
in your
correct.
artwork. Nice. I don't come across everyday people who like when I ask them who's your favorite artist. I don't hear this very often that they tell me that it's Georgia O'Keeffe because I thought that I was one of the only few people who would like Treasure of Trees.
Yeah.
That's good to know. That's good to know. So, like, I would say, they've been really your sort of like artist pillar for all these years.
Correct, correct.
Yeah.
Even since
Okay.
my college days, I used to do a lot of research on two particular artists. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Like I would think these artists usually, it's not just about their artwork, that's the thing. It's about their life, their thought process, their personality and everything else, all combined together to actually be that kind of artist. Like for example, if you take Jackson Pollock for example, you know, in life story itself, he's got psychological issues, like we all know
Yeah.
that, right? Yeah. Maybe not as pleasant as well, in person,
Yeah.
but it's because of his story and the issues that he has gone through or his experience, and his baggage, lah, basically, all of it combined together with his artwork, especially how he expressed himself, that somehow just sum it all up, So like,
Correct.
which is why it comes back to earlier when I said crisis.
Yeah.
Crisis is one of the things that, like somehow brings people into a different state of mind. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, again, everybody, if you have any questions, please feel free to post your questions and then he will answer that definitely. Yeah. So don't be shy. Okay. And I know that you have some friends here. Adel is here.
Yes.
I just came on and said congratulations as well. Yeah, let's
Thanks.
go through. Yeah. A lot of them say, hi, teacher. That's my teacher right there. You're amazing. Yeah, they're all big supporters. That's amazing. That's nice. Okay, so we're moving on to the next question would be about self-doubt. And I think this is also a very important question because glam aside, because of the world of Instagram or social media,
Correct.
glam aside, yeah. So I think self-doubt is something very realistic and that is hardly ever addressed when it comes to being an artist. One of your students asked you, teacher, do you miss us? That's a question you have to answer.
Oh, yes, yes. I definitely miss them. Since it's online teaching, I couldn't see them for a long time. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. And it'll say enjoying this live chat. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's so sad to know that we're all going on another lockdown again, but I guess maybe that's required. It's very sad to know that we are back to square one again.
Correct.
Yeah, so okay, moving back to the question. Yeah, so on self-doubt, which I mentioned that it's something that we rarely touch because people don't really want to talk about the real stuff, it's always a very taboo kind of thing.
Yeah.
But in this day of age, mental health has become quite an important thing, and I always try my best to touch on mental health part because personally I've been diagnosed with anxiety disorder. Yeah, so to me mental health is very, very important, and I spend my entire life trying to combine the idea of art, creativity, and self-healing or mental health, all together. So that's why I ask this kind of questions. So on self-doubt, like, have you ever felt before that your art may not be appreciated or accepted by others? That actually has caused you feeling, a sense of unworthiness, I would say. And if you have, what do you do to rise above this particular obstacle, if you have? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we that is our biggest fear of being an artist, because we always constantly think that what others will think. You see, even if it's not related to art, we always think that what others will think, and we always care for what others will think, which is not our problem at all, I would say. And somehow we have to let it go. All this negative thought. It is very important to share it out. As an artist, I'm speaking as an artist, we have to talk to our fellow artists. Do not also compare ourselves, I would say, to the other artists, but focus on improving ourselves. So that is very, very important. And also when we are unsure, try to find time for inspiration, look at art, listen to music and all this, read story, watch a good movie and things like that. Find something that will boost your idea, I would say, motivation. And for me, I always do in-depth research, which I find it very good, because through research you are actually opening up to your art block. You sometimes we always tend to phrase it up to art block, like I think Adele is asking how you
Yeah.
overcome the art block. So art block is actually a kind of process as well, because it's not always that we can draw things or paint things, you see. So it is also some kind of process, I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's very true. Like,
Mhm.
why do you think artists tend to develop this sort of feeling, like, the feeling of like unworthiness, or feeling like, like, will anybody accept me, or I appreciate my artworks, that kind of thing. Like, why do you think they tend to get in that mindset? Like, how do you think it even comes about? You
Yes.
think it's because of
I
social
think
media? Or?
it is partly can be also social media, and also because our mindset where we always
Mm,
compare ourselves with other artists. We
mm,
can compare once in a while, yes, but it cannot be the main thought of an artist. You see, we cannot be continuously comparing with others.
yeah,
But you
yeah,
have to compare with yourself, whether you're getting from where you have started and where are you now. You know, you should also refer back to all your old works, and you can see the whole process. You see, how far you have come.
yeah, yeah. I
So
agree with you when it comes to that. Yeah.
yeah,
It's That's the whole idea. In fact, that's the whole purpose of keeping an art journal. Not just
yes,
for pretty, for
correct,
vanity's sake,
correct,
but
correct.
if you actually look back at, whether it is ugly at one time or not, it doesn't really matter. But that whole process actually brings you back to like your root. And I can truly understand that, because I have gone through the phase of like, what's my style? I don't even know, that kind of thing. But when I look back, and my entire collection of art journals from way before, from even when I was a kid, and I realized that, oh, okay, I noticed the resemblance, like the connection. I used to do this a lot, and I still do this as an adult. So
Yeah.
I realized that I'm drawn, or perhaps resonate to a particular sense of style,
Mhm.
and I can understand, that probably that's the thing that I'm more drawn towards too. So I used to tell people, like, I don't really believe in the whole idea of creative block, or creative blockages,
Yeah.
that kind. Why I don't believe it, there's nothing negative about it. It's just that I feel that, we have everything in our power to do something about it, and
Yeah.
that includes, like what you say, going through books, reading, or going through your own art journal, or allowing yourself to do things. Like, creativity comes in all forms. It doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily have to be um, like sitting down and painting. It can be like
Correct. Correct.
listening to music, and stuff like that. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think all that combines together into one piece of an artwork, which I mentioned earlier. If only an artwork can combine with the sound, smell, or whatever,
Oh yeah.
everything else. Yeah,
That will be
yeah,
the installation art, I would say.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. That would be
Mhm.
ultimate. Yeah, I'm curious though. How do people, like, when artists, professional artists, exhibit installation artworks? Like, how do they monetize from that with the gallery? Like, I've always wondered. I never had a chance to ask anybody about this. Do you have any idea?
Um, I think I have never tried installation art myself before, because
Okay.
we always tend to follow what is the most comfortable for us, right?
Yeah.
So I have not much and have an idea on this installation, but I think um, they have to some kind of find sponsors for themselves, because sometimes it involves a lot of money, especially
Oh.
when you are doing and also a lot of preparation, especially when you are doing art on site. You
Yeah.
see,
Yeah.
so
Okay. Okay. That's good to know. You have another question. Shruti asks, "What is your take on art and mental health?"
yes. Thanks, Shruti, for the question. Art and mental health, actually, it helps each other. For myself itself, when the first MCO happened, I left all my art materials in school, you see.
Oh.
So I didn't have anything at home, but only had a paper and a pencil, and just some few color pencils and things like that. So I was going crazy, thinking that I couldn't express myself, I couldn't draw, I couldn't paint, and I couldn't share my knowledge and things like that. So that is where I realized I can do a lot of other things as well with art, not necessarily to draw or paint, but also, let's say, to decorate the house. You know, you can do a lot of things. Gardening, it's also can be part of art. And all the different things, elements actually help me to overcome with my mental health, especially. You know, when we sit idle, when we don't do anything, that is where you go into depression. And it will become worse when you don't have anything, anyone to share with. So, so through art, you can actually let out what your thoughts are into, let's say, like art journals and things like that. So online shopping, yes, Adele.
I can relate to that.
Yes.
It's so true, because I ended up creating a blog post on all the art shops that you can shop from.
Correct. Yeah. It helps. Okay. So whatever makes you happy, as long as you stay healthy and your mindset is happy, you know, we cannot be staying to stay positive all the time. You know, people say be positive, but eventually that positive will eventually turn into toxic positivity. You see?
Yes, I was just about to say that as well.
Yes. So once in a while, yes, we are all human beings. We tend to have this negative thoughts and things like that, but we have to overcome that. You know, somehow we have to overcome that. Yeah.
Okay, you have another question. So how or when did you realize that you have this talent in you, and what would you advise the younger ones in exploring their exploring the younger ones in exploring their hidden talent?
Advice to the younger ones exploring their hidden talent, because we will never know until we come to a certain age whether we are going to continue in that particular art form. But when they are small, I would always advise the parents to let them do what they like to do. You know, do not restrict them and things like that. If, let's say, they love to scribble on the wall, let it be. That can be a beginning of a professional artist, you see. So you must let them explore. Exploration is very, very important.
There are various ways anyway, like, you know, just probably paint a chalkboard wall and just let them scribble on the wall if you don't want them to scribble on that particular wall, you know. Or have a room for them to just fully express themselves and make a mess in there, you know.
Correct.
It is kind of like overwhelming to think about it, because you have to pick up after them. But you know, like art and it's not even about art actually, it's about allowing them to be creative so that they may even, you know, like be bold enough to try other things eventually. Not necessarily just be an artist.
Correct.
Okay. So again, guys, if you have any more questions, the questions are amazing, by the way. If you have any more questions, continue to ask, because we are on the last question here already. So continue to ask so that Eugene can answer them for you. Okay, so the last thing would be, I think very importantly, is for all the budding artists here, for those who are thinking of pursuing the creative path. So if a budding artist who is inspired by you and wants to pursue the art career path like you, what would your advice be to this person?
Okay, as an artist, as an art educator, I would say it's not going to be an easy path. We have to admit that, especially in art, it's not going to be easy. And especially when you have to convince your parents, when you wanted to do art as your future or as your, you know, your education. So our Malaysian community in particular, we have to engage more ourselves into this local art scene and to have better understanding what is our local art scene is all about. And once you are in this art career, be authentic, I would say. Okay. Also paint what interests you. It is not just for creating art for the market or for the gallery, but it's for you yourself especially. Okay, you create art for yourself, and then when you are authentic, people will eventually see wonders in your work. And also be consistent, I would say. One very consistent and good artist, I would say Adeline. She's one of the most consistent artists that I ever met. She's the one who's always pushes me to do artwork. Being an art educator, sometimes I forget that I'm also an artist. So she always pushes me. So thank you, Adeline, for that. And also many other people out there. My friends Guna, Siti, all my different colleagues from school and as well from college years, they always encourage each other. Because why I'm saying this, because we have to encourage our artist friend. Okay, we have to encourage each other to continue developing our skill and also showcasing our artwork. So that is very I would say important in your process of becoming an artist.
I would say that to sum it up is basically to find your tribe. Surround yourself with the right people. When they say surround yourself with the right people, doesn't mean that you do have to pick and choose your friends, but choose the people who would actually lift you up, right? I would say that. Yeah.
Correct.
I think you have one more question.
Yeah.
Shruti asks, do you think there is such thing as overrated art?
As I always advise my students, there is no right or wrong or such thing as overrated. Okay, art is an art because it comes from you. No one else can copy you, you see. So be open to ideas.
Is Shruti your student?
Yeah, she's my student.
Okay, that's great. Okay. I think we've covered a lot. Okay, so guys, if you have any more questions, ArtsCom. Okay, so ArtsCom is actually the runner-up for the other category. And so he said that's the spirit of an artist. Congratulations. He's also actually my ex-colleague from the One Academy as well. Yeah.
Okay, hi.
Small world. I think Adeline is very happy to know that she's one of the source of your inspiration as well.
Yes, always did.
Okay, so I have another question over here. Why is it some people can stick a banana on the wall and then sell them for thousands? Yeah. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
That was a very funny incident because everybody started sticking bananas on the wall.
Correct. What shall I say? For me, it was when I looked at it first. I find it. We love to critique. As a human being, we love to critique different artworks and different artists and things like that. But for me, that will be, I would say it's a kind of contemporary art. But as an artist, we can actually understand. But majority of the public cannot accept. That is the problem, I think. Because obviously, you stick a banana on the wall, who would accept that as an art, right? So, but for different artists, well, sometimes we can accept. Looking at what the statement is all about. The drawing or the painting can be very simple, but the statement can be very strong.
That's true. Yeah.
So it depends, I say. It's very subjective. Yeah.
And maybe also do you have any idea who was the artist? Was it Banksy or something like that?
No, it's not Banksy. It's another artist. I can't remember his name.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very interesting though, the fact that
yes.
I didn't know what was going on there. I was like looking on my social media thinking, why is everyone talking about this banana on the wall? I don't understand. Then I realized
even that created a lot of impact, you see. People start talking about it and things like that. So maybe that's the thought of the artist. He wants attention. He wants people to talk about it, although how bad it is.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, if you think about it, that's another form of installation art.
Correct.
Right? Yeah, or another form of, like in advertising, we learn guerrilla campaign. That's like probably another form as well, because I don't think he ever had I mean, how do you sell a banana taped on a wall, you know, that kind of thing. I don't think he ever had that like, the first thing he wants to is to sell that artwork. Like you say, it's probably to create talkability among people, you know, to like create a kind of hype. And then the monetization came afterwards. It was like part of the reward of being such a hype, you know. But yeah. Okay, so let me just go through other. Your student said his favorite student.
They are all my favorites.
Yes, no bias. Okay, so there's another question by Enigma Priya. She asked, is it a must to have one style for an artist?
One style, perhaps if you're really comfortable in that, maybe you should continue with that. But it's always good to open up yourself to different style of art as well. Always, as I always stress, experimentation is very, very important. Also doing a lot of research, and eventually you will find the most suitable style for yourself. And from there, perhaps you can continue more seriously into that particular style. Yeah.
What if an artist have different styles that they like? You know, they like this, they like this, they like this. How do they find a way to combine it all?
I think it shouldn't be a problem trying to discover or try to create artwork in different style. Yeah, but you must eventually find a way, let's say, a mark for yourself as well, like a brand. You see, oh, if you look at Eugene, his works are this. So you have to come to that sort of level.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. So Shruti asked, do you have a favorite piece of art?
Favorite piece of art, actually, I have a lot. Yeah, I have a lot. Couldn't single out any. Yeah, but there's a lot.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yes.
So Adel said Ada said that the banana on the wall is an Italian artist called Maurizio. Okay, thank you
thanks for the info.
Yes. Now I know Maurizio. Because I know that Banksy was another one that created some kind of hype as well.
Yes.
So with the current hype with NFT art, do you have plans to go into crypto or an NFT? Just curious.
No, not now. Not for now.
Okay, what do you understand from about NFT?
NFT, I actually didn't do much research about that, but I have heard about it, but I haven't really looked into that particular work. Yeah.
Okay, I heard it's the next thing, because right now, like I said, you know, crisis. You know, we are all going through an evolution right now. So we could be mental evolution, emotional, inner, and even in art evolution as well. And it's amazing to see how fast we are moving. In just 1 year, we have already like accelerate through, you know, to so much changes right now. I asked because my husband and I, we are moving into cryptocurrency as well. We are doing a lot of research into it. I'm also doing research in NFT, which is non-fungible token. And it's amazing to see how artists have like sort of like come out from their comfort zone, you know, and, you know, expand further and understand the whole idea of this this kind of financial evolution, I would say. Yeah. A little bit out of topic, but yeah. Okay.
It's good, good to know that.
Okay, so Cassie from Liat Shop asked, would you advise to study masterpieces or artwork by your favorite artist as a start in searching for your own style? As in like copying the artwork you like first. This is actually a very good question, because I think I'm sure a lot of artists that are pursuing fine arts probably have asked questions like this as well, but they didn't ask out loud. You know,
I would advise, as a foundation, to build a solid foundation, you have to do a lot of study on the masterpieces and eventually search for your own style. Like for myself, when I was in MIA, our foundation was very strong. So since we have to do a lot of research about different artists, it's not necessarily that you have to copy their style at the beginning or later on, but it's actually to look into the process and their art statement. How can they create such work? You see, and then through the process, eventually you will find your own style, I would say. Yeah, so it's very important to study all the different masterpieces and all these things. Yeah.
That's interesting. So I guess you would say it's like, it's basically the same thing as what you mentioned earlier, or what we
Yeah,
talked
correct.
about earlier. At the end of the day, it's just, it all comes back to experimenting and being open
Yeah,
to experimenting and exploring different things, so that you
correct.
you understand where you stand or what you resonate towards to even most, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think that's a pretty good question. Okay,
Yeah.
so I have a question as well. Like I mentioned earlier, I didn't had a chance to pursue art formally in the form of education.
Mhm.
So I went through the bigger route,
Yeah.
like graduating from, I mean, leaving school, going to college,
Mhm.
studying mass comm instead,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I didn't even join an ad agency because I didn't want to be a slave to the odd timing,
Yeah.
the lifestyle. Yeah. So I went through a different route. I went and worked in a craft store just to learn retail
Mhm.
and product knowledge, and things like that. And that means I was trained like like a seasoned crafter.
Yeah.
Then after that, I went on to becoming a copywriter at the One
Uh-huh.
Academy instead. Yeah, I
Okay.
developed while I was in the One Academy, I was also working with their subsidiary company, which is called Da Vinci
Oh,
Creative
okay.
Kits. Yeah, so I
Mhm.
developed their art programs for them for
Oh,
each
okay.
fall before I left to the
Uh-huh.
other department to be a copywriter. So
Mm.
I've always wondered, like, is it really important to have a formal art education? Like, is it a setback if you don't have one? Like, for someone like me, I don't have one, and I have to go through the long way
Yeah.
instead to be an artist. But yeah,
Yeah.
is it really important to have one?
No, it's not important to have a formal art education, um, because the experiences and the process is what is most important to make you what you are now. I only
Okay.
had this formal art education for 2.5 years, so that
Okay.
is not sufficient enough for me. It is the process, I would say, the experiences, and that is what makes you into an artist, because there's a lot of self-taught artists out there,
Yeah.
and they are really good. Some of them are really good, although they didn't have this so-called formal education, but they
Mhm.
create themselves all this education. Sometimes you can't learn everything through formal education. You have to explore yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, if you are saying this, then like if you were to place, okay, it's kind of like buying iPhone and Samsung. Like
Yeah.
I know it's not a very good analogy, but if, like, let's say I were to take these two together and I will compare it side by side, right? Like, to be a self-taught artist, to pursue the self-taught path, and to actually go through formal education, like, what is the one thing that this one have and this one don't have? Like, what's the difference between the two? If since that it's not so important, and that we can pursue the path on our own, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, what's the pros and cons, lah? Like, how
I
do
think
you
it's more on what you are going to do later on in your life. For
okay.
myself, I wanted to become an art educationist, so I must also think, when I become an art teacher, what is the requirement? You see, so
Yeah.
that is why I enrolled myself in MIA. So I have a proper cert and things like this.
Okay.
It's needed. It's compulsory. It's essential. You see. So, but if you want to become a full-time artist on yourself and things like that, it's not necessarily to have a formal art education. But that's why I say it depends on what you want to do in
Yeah.
future. What are the
Yeah.
requirements needed? Things like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense. That means you're not just jumping onto college just to waste time and go for attend
Correct.
classes and skip classes and
Yes.
stuff like that.
Yes.
You practically actually go there because it's a place of training, because you
Yes.
already know what exactly you want to do in life later on,
Yeah.
and that's
Correct.
your ticket way to get into that
Yes.
particular
Yes.
field. Yeah, that's actually true. In fact, I think that should be something that we all need to remember, because like I know back then I've known graphic designers who graduated and ended up going to real estate, or
Yeah.
something else. Yeah.
Correct,
So I guess
correct.
maybe it's the purpose and the intention is no longer there. It's not the same anymore. lah. Okay.
It
So
also depends on your passion, I would say.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true. It's very important to know your why, because if you don't
Yeah.
really know your why, then
Yes.
everything else falls apart in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna take on last question. If any of you guys have any more questions, just feel free to post, because it's gonna be the last one before we finalize. So Shruti asked, do you think art has now become more of a business compared to passion? And she said, best art teacher in the world, by the way. Really, you have to give a good Oh, you have another art teacher. So this girl is cute. It's a girl, right?
Yeah.
It's really cute. Okay.
Answering the business or passion, well, you can incorporate both at the same time. I work as a full-time art teacher, and also whenever I have time, I do my exhibitions and things like that. So that you earn something through that as well. But even through exhibitions, you cannot be selling your artwork all the time. Okay.
Yeah.
So some of us will just do it for the sake of passion, because since we have passion, we just wanted to explore ourselves. You see, it's not necessarily to be business or I must sell this artwork. No. So yeah, you can always incorporate both of them.
Yeah, I think when it comes to that part, when it comes to how to say art business versus passion, that would come into art merchandising. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
When it comes to art business, yeah. So that's
Yeah,
a whole different ballgame. Yeah.
That's more accurate now.
Yeah. So how does someone break into the art merchandise scene if that's the case?
Well, you have to do a lot of research, see what is the market about, what is the best thing to do, exposing yourself to different companies and things like that. So I think doing a thorough research will be very good before you go into this art merchandising and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Whole different ballgame altogether.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So Enigma says here, been a self-taught artist for 8 years now, enrolled to MIA now. That's amazing. Yeah, because that's what exactly what we're talking about. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, that should be it, because like if you jump into something that you don't know, then it's not just, it's not gonna know exactly how you want it to be. But if you already have a certain a path that you've already you want it to be, then go into it, at least you have a sense of purpose.
Yeah.
So Alice said, show us your workspace. And Shruti said, teacher, would you like to celebrate this later?
We shall wait to MCO to be lifted, then yeah.
You really have to reward this particular student. She's really supportive. So cute.
Yeah, they are very excited actually.
Okay, so Ellie asked, show us your workspace. Yeah, this is something everybody wants to know.
Oh.
Are you able to show your
My
workspace?
workspace is in the other room, and I feel very shy to show because it's very horrible.
Don't worry, I understand, because I have the one you see over here. This is the one next to the living room. It's usually meant for normal stuff, but the real mess is in the other room.
Exactly, because I think most of the artists, we cannot keep our space clean. It's impossible. Even in school, my table is the most messiest table. All the teachers will say, Eugene, please clean up your place. For me, it's like, that is more workable, you see. I cannot have things that is arranged and things like that. No. Yeah.
It's funny. But yeah, it's true. But I think that's what people want to see. They want to see the mess.
Yes.
They actually want to see the mess. And thanks to Instagram, we have a hashtag called Happy Mess. But yeah, I mean, if you have a chance, please do share your workspace. Not now. I mean, you can always post it up on Insta story and just tag me and I'll share it with my readers.
Sure, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. We have more questions coming in. Okay. I think we can still take, if you're comfortable, we can still take. You're okay with it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So Anton Fran asks, is the artistic life lonely, and what do you do to counteract it?
Um, Personally, it's not so lonely for me,
Okay.
but it can be lonely,
Okay.
especially when you are seriously working onto your art. It can be lonely at times. That's where I put on my earphones and listen to my music, and sometimes I'm stuck in my room for the whole day, because once we start painting or drawing, it's very difficult to stop, because it keeps coming. So it can be lonely, but yeah, try to incorporate that once in a while. Stop Try to stop, because it is also not good when you overdo it. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's the whole, perhaps need to define lonely in what sense, because there's alone versus lonely.
Yes.
Like alone, we are okay with being alone. Sometimes we need
Yeah.
quiet time alone, but lonely
Yeah,
as
yeah.
in like perhaps maybe it's the idea of, because we work on our own most of the time,
Yeah.
when you're an artist, a self-taught artist, and you work from home,
Correct.
it's different. Yeah, your colleagues are like probably your dog, your cat, your fridge, or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So Felicia, I hope I pronounced your name right. Should you have a page to show your artwork? I'm sure many would be interested. Yeah, hope I'm
Yes.
getting it right.
Most of my works are posted in my Instagram, so you can always follow me on Instagram. So yeah.
Where can they find you? On Instagram, like what's your handle?
Pardon?
What's your handle, your Instagram handle?
It's just my name, Eugene Nandakumar.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, go ahead and comment.
Yeah.
Somebody said your table is the best, got chocolates. I presume that's your colleague.
I think so, yeah.
Shruti says, I want chocolate. Sun's full of creative. My sister will help me to clean my table, and it will last only for 2 days. We can really relate to that.
Yeah.
That's nice, Anton. Thank you for promoting Eugene's drawing. And Shruti, go follow my teacher. You really have to reward this bunch. Mr. Eugene for life.
Thanks, Shruti.
It's very cute. So your biggest cheerleader.
Yeah.
You have to find a way to reward her or something.
Yes.
Okay, guys, if you have any more questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, if not, we will probably come to an end over here. Yeah, in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to repost this on Instagram and also on YouTube channel. So if you guys have any questions that you want to ask Eugene that you may not be able to ask right now, or that you can't think of anything right now at the moment, just post it under the IGTV later when I post, and I will tag Eugene, and Eugene will answer them. So, okay, Alice is my friend.
Okay.
Yeah, and she's also sort of like my teammate in the Artsy Craftsy as well. We are working on something.
Hi, Alice.
Yeah, so she asked, what do you say to people who question your art pieces? For example, so expensive. Yes, this is very true.
Yes. I think we have to establish ourselves before we how do I say, price our artwork.
Yeah.
Right? Whether we are established or whether we are upcoming artists, it all depends. We cannot, let's say, we start off with the first group exhibition and then you sell it for 10,000. That's a bit hard for people to accept, because they don't know you as an artist. So I always feel that you need to expose yourself more as an artist and get people to know more about you. From there, you can slowly develop your art prizes and things like that. Yeah.
Okay. Then thank you for explaining that. Yeah, that's very true. It's very important to establish first. And I think someone else asked me this question before, and what I told this person is that, well, if this person, whoever that asks you the price, and then this person finds that it's expensive, you don't have to feel bad, because it's just not meant to be, you know. It's just that customer is just not meant to be your customer.
Correct.
And,
I agree with you.
There will always be one customer meant for everybody, you know, and the world is so big out there. But the thing is, we tend to see in a smaller perspective that, you know, we find very hard for us to get new clients, you know, but actually it's all out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right about establishing it in early stages.
Yeah.
Okay, so Shruti said, teacher, I have shaky hands. It really isn't helping my art. Poor thing. She put sad face.
Actually, I too have that problem. I think many of our artists have that problem of shaky hands, or it's not stable. I do a lot of hand exercise and things like that, you know, with the massage ball and things like that. But when it comes to serious work, it tends to stop because you're so focused in doing your artwork.
I guess your awareness goes to this part here.
Correct.
Right, and you somehow you're able to control it even more. But yeah, I get what you mean, because I have a friend who also is currently experiencing shaky hands as well. Perhaps enough or something, I'm not sure. But it's very important to look into it, because if it's happening in the early age, it's better to spot it as soon as possible.
Yes, correct.
Sans World, thanks you for the positive conversation. I feel busted. Welcome. At least thanks for the insight. Alicia said, congratulations again, your artwork is beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Alicia.
Thank you for coming on to the live.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah. Okay, so we've come to an end. Thank you so much, Eugene, for doing this for us. Oh yeah, she said, side note, I took Mr. Eugene's advice and took up art, and he has really helped my anxiety. Eugene, you really have to reward her. But yes, it's good to know that that art actually helps. Yeah, I am thinking of starting a new segment called Art Heals. Perhaps maybe I can have you on that later on as well, to talk about how art can heal. You know, how much the role it plays in healing. So like, it'd be interesting that you can actually share that with me later on, since you know that she's brought about anxiety. Yeah. So yeah, any more questions? Okay, at least ask. It's good that the questions are coming in actually. Where do we establish ourselves in the art market?
That is where your artist friend comes in. For myself, I have a number of good artist friends. They always encourage or share information about the current or next upcoming exhibitions and things like that. So sometimes we don't know, we are not checking our phone all the time, or sometimes we don't know about the information. So we share to each other and things like that. So from there, that's how I expose myself, through group exhibitions and things like that. I never had my solo exhibition. Maybe that's my future plan. But for now, to establish myself, I do a lot of group exhibitions.
Nice.
Try to grab whatever opportunity that comes in. Yeah,
you're right about the sometimes we miss out. So I have Adeline as well, who keeps sending me an information. I'm so grateful for that, you know. So like, it allows me to review through, and I'm pretty sure she sends you as well. So like, just to I think Alice asked this question. So yeah, Alice is very similar to our TAC friends. We have, because we have a group, we have an inner circle where we keep each other updated time to time. You're right, important to have the tribe. Okay, so no more questions. Don't worry guys, you can still ask questions in the IGTV, and I will make sure Eugene answers them. Okay, so thank you so much, Eugene, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. It's a pleasure to speak to you. And congratulations once again for being the grand prize winner. It's really well deserved. Hope you're enjoying all your prizes.
Yes, I do.
On the way. And I will keep in touch with you for. She's saying, we love you, teacher. You seriously?
Oh, love you too.
So I will keep in touch with you. I'll probably think of something else as well to work together with you on the bitumen, the content on the bitumen, and perhaps on a new segment. I'll contact you definitely.
Sure. Thank you.
Sorry, a friend of mine as well. Wonderful session insight. Thank you, Eugene, and congrats once again, Charlene and the art shop. Yes, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you all. Thank you all for joining.
Yes. So see you guys again, and bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.